Welcome back, everybody, to the first watch. We have been away from each other for a month, which feels like an eternity. Although hopefully there won't be a month in between episodes, so no one should know that except for the fact that I just said it. But I am Andrew Coons. I am the dungeon master for our adventure. Super excited to be back, diving into episode 12. So we're gonna popcorn around and meet everybody for those who might be joining us for the first time. And I'm gonna throw it to our returning member to the group after quite a while away, Shannon.
That's me. Hi, everybody. I am so excited to be back. I miss this crew so incredibly much. I am from Paradise Productions. That is my nerd home. I play my beloved redheaded rogue Scarlet over there, but tonight I will be reprising. I will be coming back as my gunslinging cowgirl, Daisy Mae, and everything's fine. Nothing happened. Nothing happened.
Nothing
She's
happened
totally fine.
No.
Nah, it's fine. We're good. I'm gonna throw it to Cheryl.
You got a little something. Hi, I'm Cheryl. And I'm playing Pride, the Tiefling Rogue. And you can find me variously on the internet as the Roving Naturalist and running the Nature Check D&D project. And I will throw it to Blake.
Hey everybody, I'm Blake. You can find me in lots of other streams too, but so happy to be back with this one. It's been way too long. Although like Andrew said, you all didn't know that, so you're just watching the next episode, which is like a week, but whatever. I play Grokas Darkbringer, who's just perfectly fine. Like everything's good, things have been really looking up lately. So yeah, I'm gonna pass it to Joe.
Hey guys, I'm Joe, and I'm playing Malachite, the Earth Genasi Artificer. Had to think about that. It's been so long. Yeah, that's me. Just an artificer. That's all. I'll throw it to Peony. Darby.
Hi, my name is Darby, otherwise known as Chaotic Darby on the internet. Oh, dude, they couldn't know. It was a surprise. But hello. Yes, I'm Darby. I she, her pronouns, and I'll be playing your lovable artificer, and definitely not a ranger, Peony. And I'll throw it to Dana?
Sure. Hi, I'm Dana. I'll be playing Artemis Valor, Asmar wizard, who's not at all emotionally distraught this evening. And I will pass it to Casey.
Yo, what's up, guys? I am Casey. I'm playing the half-elf bard warlock, Uranus, and I'm afraid. In the best way possible, but I'm afraid.
I mean, it's not like someone made a dangerous deal with someone, to do some things, It's fine.
Oh, guys.
I don't have anything to do.
No weird dreams, nothing.
Nope. Nothing at all.
Lord.
Did we hit everybody? There's so many people. All right. So many characters. Keep track of so many backstories.
Let me introduce my partner. I'm kidding.
Yeah, no. I cap it at 7.
You didn't name all the pets, though.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. We do have lots of pets.
Yeah, we have Schubert.
We have Schubert. We have Gerald. We have Petal. We have Kingsley. Yes,
We're gonna get Greta.
Don't forget Bethany.
Greta is a sentient being. She is not a pet.
Person, not a pet.
Oh.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, let's throw it to the intro sequence and then get into tonight's episode of The First Watch. party has found themselves in what can only be described as an interesting predicament. You all, upon visiting various parts of the town and running into Daisy Mae, which got you caught up with the three blades and led to a conflict that you all ran from, ended up in the mines where you found a dwarven forge. No pun intended, there's no copyright infringement there. You found in this forge some folks from the town who had been forcibly made to come here and work, trying to take the forge and get it working again, as it was dormant at the time. You also found a book that detailed the history of what actually happened to the dwarves some 300 years ago, and found out that it was a case of vampirism that had spread through them and rendered their kingdom to dust. They themselves fleeing deeper underground in order to avoid spreading the disease across all the peoples of the kingdom. You found out that the people who were in the mine being held there were held there by Elixio, one of the lieutenants of Brobat who operates on the top shelf. You decided to free them by going to Elixio and either destroying him or making some sort of a deal. You ended up in his house having drinks and kind of under this guise of a social call. But things went south once it was revealed that he knew that Artemis was reading his thoughts, and everything turned dark very quickly. However, combat was avoided as you all began talking and actually struck a devil's contract with him, as he himself turned out to be not a tiefling, but a Cambion in disguise, so an actual half-devil. The contract stated that you all were to actually be the ones to figure out what the forge does and build complete the machine that is there, that the forge would build. Although there are some minute details on how complete that needs to be that I think you all are starting to find some loopholes in. In return, Elixio agreed to let the people that were there go and get out of Floros, and also to call the dogs off of all of you, so that the Three Blades is not chasing you throughout town based on your previous encounters. So a truce of sorts has been made at this time. You got Clarence Hillfoot and his son Hugh and Dr. Anderson out of town, but not before Dr. Anderson dropped off some research with you, Malachite, about just some goings-on the coast and the way that sailors are kind of ripping through the landscape there, and some help he wanted you to have there. And here at the start of a new day, you've kind of found yourself looking at Floros with new eyes, now knowing a little bit more about the underbelly and all the goings-on in the politics, but at the moment out of immediate danger. One other thing of note is you did contact Azure Nock, the leader of Realm Shield, the local monster hunters guild, trying to create an alliance against Elixio should you need it, and she invited you to come to the Realm Shield Guild Hall that night for drinks, so that's on the table. But as we kind of come into session today, the six of you are finding yourselves out, in the streets, wherever you would like to be, and the majority of the day is ahead of you. So, what would you like to do?
I think Artemis is gonna try and take Grokas aside for a moment. And do you have a moment to talk?
Yeah.
Yeah?
What's up? Yeah. Well, of course I'm.
Are you okay?
I think so. I mean, I do look injured. I mean, yeah, I'm okay.
That's not what I mean.
I mean, I'm okay as much as I can be, I guess, all things considered. So.
I'm going to talk for a moment, and I want you to listen. I've never really been one for words. And I just wanted you to know that you've been my rock for these past few years. And that You saved me so many times. You've never asked me for anything. You've never complained once. And I just wanted you to know that it's my turn to be the rock for you. And she's gonna walk away.
Okay.
We're just gonna kind of stand there, just silent system. Just put like his hands in his eyes in space and just kind of just stand there for a minute.
Is this while we're still walking? Grokas just stops.
Are we? Oh yeah, if we were walking, yeah, we'd probably just stop. Just
Were we standing there or are we walking?
So you're walking to like Realm Shield? No?
Well, Realm Shield, she invited you that evening.
Oh, evening.
So-
Okay. Never mind.
I would say this could happen like you're all like in a courtyard or kind of just on the sidewalk or whatnot in the city.
Yeah.
If Aranis notices Grokas, he would also just like to walk over and say, I don't know what Artemis said to you, but I just wanted to apologize because I realized that we made a cleric sign a deal with the devil. And
that's not no. You guys, that was my decision. No one forced me to do anything. It was my decision. So, no.
And I get that, but I still wanted to apologize. So
Then to apologize for that. Come on.
too late, and Aranis walks off.
Amazing. You'll take your apology and you'll like it. Anyone else have a moment they want to do before we look to your next destination? Okay. Where is the party headed? The city is your oyster, as it were. There are shops, there are armories, there's the library. You can sit and get drunk in a park. What's the agenda for today?
I would say like Artemis is gonna go for the library if anybody wants to join her.
I'll come.
Okay.
I'll also go.
Okay.
Yeah, same.
Sounds like everybody's headed to the library. Awesome. Daisy Mae, can you roll a stealth check for me, please?
Yeah. You got it, boss.
It's gotta be
22.
A 22? Okay.
any passive perception.
My passive perception is a 24, baby.
He didn't ask you.
But I see.
He's on our side. Oh my god.
As you're all making your way up, Daisy Mae, word has come through, and you know that your friends are safe for the moment, but obviously something to keep tabs on. So, probably, knowing kind of roughly where they were, early that morning, you found yourself a little spot, just to see where they come out the door and whatnot, and are staying pretty well hidden, hat low, over your eyes, and as it were. And they begin to make their way up towards the higher shelves, all the way up to the top shelf.
Cool.
Are you following them?
Yeah, but yes, but I'm not being creepy about it, but I don't want to be seen, so I don't know how you do that without being creepy.
Totally normal.
It's a fine line.
Normal way.
It's a fine line.
Yeah.
And yes, unfortunately for you, maybe not so unfortunately, Peony, you do catch the glint of a familiar kind of purplish brown hat just out of the corner of your eye at one point as you're walking.
Can I stealth and try and sneak up on where I saw that?
Kind of do the double back thing around and go back there.
I have my hood up.
Okay, yep, so advantage on stealth checks. Go for it.
Yeet.
And this will be an active perception check against you, Daisy Mae. So if you want to roll that, because you're on
That
the
rolled
lookout.
straight out of my freaking tray. Yeah, get in there. Jesus Christ.
I rolled a 15, which is my passive, so it doesn't matter.
Okay. I'm guessing you beat a 15, Peony.
Yeah, I rolled
the
a
look on your
natural
face.
20
Oh.
First
for
one.
a total of 24.
Okay.
Wow, which is your passive.
Yeah, which is my passive perception.
So, Peony, you kind of peel off real quick and kind of disappear into the crowd, and all of a sudden you're like just standing right behind Daisy Mae. The first time you've seen her in a few days.
Oh boy.
Peekaboo.
Is that a hug?
Yeah, hug and a peekaboo. Peekaboo.
Ah! Well, hi.
Hi.
Where did you come from? Oh my goodness.
From there, or where they are. But I saw you.
I did not see you coming at all.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm
Good to
doing.
see you.
I exist. It's
That
been
you
a
do.
time.
How's everybody else doing? I'm not trying to be creepy here, but I heard that you guys were back, and I just wanted to keep an eye.
Well, back implies that we left. Which we didn't. Everyone else is.
I understand.
Yes.
I understand. Some things have happened, haven't they?
Yes. Does Daisy Mae have the?
Oh,
is
yeah.
that? Well,
Oh yeah.
yeah. Did some things happen to you
Oh,
too?
there's just, you know, the life I live. I get in scraps all the time. It's nothing. It'll be gone in a couple of days. I'm not worried.
Do you wanna? Do you, like fingertip glows like ET? Do you want some healing?
Sure.
I'll do a first level cure wounds.
No, thanks.
Okay.
Bloop.
Boop.
Yeah, any kind of soreness that you were feeling, Daisy Mae, just subsides.
Okay.
And because you did such great makeup work,
I
I'm going
was
to say
gonna say,
that
does it still exist?
it doesn't
No, it was-
completely
Yeah.
disappear, but it goes
It'll
to those
be-
kind of like
I
faded
won't put
pink
the blood
scratches.
on next week.
It helps that I literally rolled the lowest that I could possibly
Perfect.
roll. I rolled a
Huh.
1 for a total of 4.
Hey,
So
There
That's
you go.
great. That feels great. Thank you. I appreciate that. It looks bad, but it's really not that bad.
Are we all standing there like where the It's like
should
We
you want
noticed
to?
Peony.
I mean, probably you don't see them. They were kind
Yeah,
of off to the
exactly.
corner, but you just like, where'd Peony go?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to come hang out again? Do you want to talk? I think everyone misses you. We got a lot to talk about. So much has happened, and thank you for your sending. It was very helpful.
You're very welcome. I'm glad I could be of assistance.
I found where he lived.
Oh. All right. Sure. Let's go say hi to everybody else.
Hey, that's friends. Hold hand. Tug.
All right. Yeah, you all turn around and just see Peony coming back to your group, but dragging by the hand Daisy Mae.
Trying to keep up.
The last time you saw her was in the heat of combat with her holding a gun to Gormar's face and telling you all to get out and that she would handle things. And here she is again on the other side of this conflict. Although you do notice still much fainter than when you first saw it, Peony, but there are these kind of large scratch marks across her face.
looks like you had a fun time.
Hi. Yeah.
Hey.
It's good to see you all again. How's it going? I heard Peony here is telling me you've been through some stuff. It's been a few days.
It's been a time.
Been a time.
Yeah.
Is everybody all right?
Mostly.
Maybe physically. Is everybody physically all right?
Yes. Yeah.
Sure.
Totally.
I
Alright,
have
we
my
can-
right and left.
Great. We can work on the mentally.
Who did that to you?
They just some random person. It was just a scrap. You know how things are down here.
A random
I'm
person
an
with
insight check though.
Insight check. Yeah.
claws.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
I know nothing.
Ooh,
I know nothing.
I know nothing.
You know
You know
nothing.
nothing,
Johnson.
just know.
I also know nothing.
It was a random person who just walked up and clawed Daisy Mae across the face. You are
Rolled a
clawed
nat
right
one.
back.
It's not an insight.
Oh, good. That
I
was
rolled
at least
Okay,
one, if
okay.
not two, not
a
ones.
19 for 25.
What'd you get, Joe?
Nat 20.
Oh, jeez. Okay. So,
Okay.
yeah. So for Malachite specifically, and Peony a little bit as well, although you're kind of not looking as closely. But Malachite, you definitely are like, oh, she dodged that question real artfully.
So where are y'all headed?
We are going to go to the library, try to figure some things out.
It's a good place to start. Figure things out. You want some company? Maybe I can help.
More the merrier.
Sure.
Great. I just love this awkward reunion of just like we're not asking the questions. We're not getting into it yet. But you know, a couple of drinks later tonight, it's all coming out.
All right. So with awkward tension in tow, you all begin making your way up. So it was probably on the second shelf that you all met up. And so you spend another 10, 15 minutes walking through the streets and, smelling the goods and everything. At one point, a little halfling girl who has like her hands full of these long sticks with what almost looks like rock candy on the end of them, kind of runs up to all of you and is like, would you all like sky shards? 2 copper apiece.
Oh, absolutely.
What was it?
I'll buy one for everybody.
Okay.
So
These
I'll
little-
clear out.
Yeah, she's got one left in her finger. When she takes all the thing and then pops that one into her mouth and gives you a big smile and runs back. But yeah, you get these they're like these colored sort of rock candy, but not so bulbous, more like kind of jagged edges and stuff. And they're very sweet when you suck on them.
If you've never had it, it's delightful.
Immediately just like
It's better if you savor it.
Peony.
I'm all right. Or you can do that.
It's gone so fast.
like Petal gets some too. Is like she crumbles off a bit at first for Petal, and then just like
Once Peony finishes hers, Pry will just wordlessly hand her stick over to Peony.
Same, actually.
Oh no.
Sugar, all the sugar.
Oh no. That's the last thing. That's the
Peony
last
roll-
thing she needed.
Peony, roll a con save.
Oh my god.
I have a
That
sugar
one.
mechanic built for Peony.
oh, it's a 3. 4.
A 4. Okay.
That's
Uh,
lowest.
I die instantly.
for the next hour, your walking speed increases by 10 feet.
So she's gonna have zoomies in the library.
But all of your wisdom based stats have a -1 penalty.
Excellent.
I'm never eating sugar again.
Love it.
I am so happy.
That could be really useful in some cases.
Yeah.
Just shove her full of sugar and set her off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Lord.
So, like,
Listen,
that's
you-
It's like a wind-up toy. You just
Yeah.
y'all ever watch that movie Over the Hedge?
Yes.
That
Yeah.
squirrel when they're like,
Yeah.
here, drink all this coffee. It's
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
Yeah, Aranis is going to give her his piece and say, put it in the bag of holding. Just for later use.
fine.
Peony.
Is in the bag of holding. Definitely.
Oh my god.
Like
Oh, boy.
stuck to the side of it.
Oh yeah, it kind of comes off. It's
Yeah.
got lint and stuff on it. Extra dimensional lint.
the other things in the bag of holding are
Grossest
stuck to it,
kind.
just like a long,
Bag
The little
man comes
stuff.
out with it like
like
It's
the
a
like the
retainer.
scarf trick. Yeah.
It's like Spirited Away when they start pulling out of the stuff out of the
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
Yeah.
exactly like that.
Gross.
Spirit.
All right. So while you're all feeding Peony full of sugar, you eventually do make your way up to the top shelf to the steps of the Grand Library and up into the main hall where you see working the counter what looks to be a fully formed Aasimar woman with like a glow to her and a bit of a halo and like these wings that spread out almost like spectral wings that are kind of floating behind her, and she's just working at the desk kind of moving things about and whatnot and ordering papers and stacking books and whatnot.
Artemis just like tenses, but she makes her way over. And Paige?
The woman turns around and looks at you. She's got these big glasses on that are kind of tilted side. She goes, "Oh, I did it again!" And poof, she boofs down to her normal form with the crazy brown hair, kind of slight figure, much shorter. And there's even like an immediate like little like change in the light as the glow disappears. But she's like, "Sorry, it's hard when no one else is here and you're not thinking, and you read a really good chapter, and it's a really good chapter, and it just kind of, yeah. Hi."
Hi. What were you reading? I'm curious.
She blushes so deep.
Tusk love.
Part two.
And she kind of reaches below and kind of pulls it out and hands it to you. And it's not smut. It is actually I mean, it depends on your definition, whatever. But it's actually a history of the angelic and demonic, for lack of a better term, races in so it's got chapters on both Aasimars and Tieflings and other similar type creatures. You flip through real quick, there's one on Cambions and whatnot. But she's like, it's a really fascinating subject to me. And as a changeling, it's always interesting to when you take on another form or whatnot to just know more about
Of course.
embodying.
Would you happen to have like more books like this?
On the different species and whatnot throughout the kingdom?
Yeah. Yes.
Well, of course, there's histories galore. Bottom level, 3 rows back, top shelf, kind of through the middle.
Okay, perfect. Any chance that book came in?
It did.
It did.
Yes.
She's just holding her hands out.
But I don't. It's here. But I
Right.
can't give it to you.
Isn't that the point of a library?
I can't give it to you because I don't have it.
You don't.
Is it checked out? I mean, what is the deal?
No,
Just spit it out.
it's here, and she kind of keeps looking over to her left, like down towards some of the rows, and she's like,
following.
It came with a person. Normally the books just get dropped off, but this one hand delivered, and that person won't give it to me.
Where is this person?
He's kind of made himself up over there. And just points, and you can't see, but you can hear like the scuffle of books and whatnot around one of the stacks at some sort of table.
Oh, Artemis is walking right over.
Okay.
Grokas grips his Warhammer, kind of wants behind.
Fight in the library.
Can I sneak on top of some shelves and like?
You start to do that, and Paige immediately is like, I'm sorry, no climbing in the library. Artemis, you walk around, and as you turn the corner, you see stacks of books like on a table. Like they're comically large and starting to kind of tip back and forth and whatnot. And you just hear this humming going on. And as you say hello, all of a sudden popping a head out from behind one of the stacks you see a halfling man with a fairly young-looking face, but he's got some crow's feet that are pretty deep in the corners. He's wearing this little pair of spectacles on the edge of his nose. He's got this bright white hair that's just like off in tufts every which direction, and a tiny little hat on top of his head that looks like comically small. He kind of looks out. He's like, "Oh, hi."
Hello.
Yes. What?
I think you have a book of mine.
Feel free to look through. I'm not keeping them. I'm just doing some research.
Okay. The Introduction to the Exploration of Graviturgy.
Like he begins shoving books out of the way as he comes out from behind and rushes up to you fully. Tiny little man to your tall stature, but he looks up at you, and he's wearing, now you get a full look at him. He's wearing kind of this long duster type coat, and you can see all these pockets, and inside you can see little vials that are hanging from his belt and everything. They're jingle jangling as he goes. I mean, just up to you, and he's just like, "You're the one who asked for the book on graviturgy."
Yes. And she's just gonna crouch down a little bit.
One second. He reaches in, he pulls out this potion vial, and he pops it. And
what?
And we're out in front of Artemis. So what are you doing?
What are you?
And he spits it back into the vial, and then holds it up and looks at you through it. Okay.
What?
Okay. Wizardology studies, am I right?
Yes.
Until most recently, something else, something a little more fisticuffs there. Interesting.
It's rude to stare.
Well, I'm not very polite, am I?
We need to put that down, okay, lad? So I want you to drop it right now.
Oh,
yes.
It's okay.
No, yeah, it's okay if you put that down right now.
Okay. This is interesting. I wasn't sure who had asked for the book.
You have a book and you give her the book.
Grokas.
It's simple.
Do I know Hoki?
Yeah, not personally, but by reputation. You, Malachite, would know that this is Hoki Mukreb, who is a famous in the way that Doc Brown would have been famous among scientists of his day. He is eccentric, wild, certainly brilliant, but has caused more than one or two explosions in public venues in the past. And you know him from description. Yeah.
Hey, Hoki, right?
Yes. How do you know my name?
Well, you're an artificer, right?
Who's that? Allegedly. Who's asking?
A fellow artificer.
I'm also an artificer.
I think you may know my dad.
What's his name?
I have no idea. I've never come up with a name.
I turned the tables.
I have no idea. It would have
Boulder.
to be an Earth Genasi name. Yeah, Boulder. His name's Boulder.
Oh my god.
The artificer.
So happy.
Boulder the Earth
Dance.
Genasi.
Yeah, he's an artificer over in Excessa. I feel like you probably crossed paths with him at some point.
I can't say it without laughing. It rings a bell a little bit.
He's in the guild and everything. I mean, he's legit.
Oh no, I don't deal with all those guild nonsense. It's just a bunch of rules and regulations that keep you from really trying things.
Sure. That makes sense. Yeah, I was just trying to, this is one of my friends here and she wants a book, so
I know she wants a book. She ordered
it.
the book. Well, that's fine. It's my book. That's why I'm wondering who wants it. What do you want it for? He's looking back at you, Artemis.
Curiosity. I just want to do a little bit of reading.
What's your end game with it?
I don't have an end game with it.
This is, well, these studies aren't, shall we say, sanctioned or official. This is kind of fringe stuff, not terribly, well looked upon.
I don't really care about that.
I like you.
I like you.
Haha. And he reaches his arm out and it stretches like 10 extra feet and grabs a book out of the middle of the stack and pulls it like Jenga, and the whole thing just goes toppling down and back. And he's like, then here you go.
Do you want it back?
No, but never let anyone who's going to tell you what to do have it. That's for people. Break the rules.
Fair enough. I will guard it with my life.
Okay. That's a little extreme. If you're going to die, maybe give him the book. It's not that big of a deal.
Fair enough.
But I mean, you do you. You want to die over a book? That's fine. I wouldn't do it. That's not my approach.
All right. She's just gonna awkwardly like walk away and just like immediately start like thumbing through it.
I can break things too. Can I get a book?
There's lots of. That's the only special book. I don't know. There's lots of library books here. That's the only
You have one
I
in
brought.
Dwarvish?
I'm not the librarian.
Fine.
While all this is going on, can Uranus have gone over to Paige and ask? So I was looking for two things. If you have any books on vampires, and if you have any books about elven mythology.
For the vampire one, are you looking for fiction or nonfiction?
Fiction.
Fiction. Oh, good. Top floor, along the right-hand wall, probably
No,
2/3 of the way in.
Which are the real ones?
Nonfiction.
Nonfiction. The Twilight section, like.
I did not want Twilight.
You see her face visibly just go to disappointed that you don't want Twilight.
It's actually called Dusklight in this
I
universe.
was just about to say, yeah.
You can get both. You can get both. Get somewhere else. Right?
She's like that. Oh, it was a really good series. It really spoke to me when I was younger. Anyway, yeah, nonfiction is on the bottom floor. It's going to be along the left-hand wall, about 1/3 of the way down on the bottom shelf.
Thank you.
And the elven studies are on the same wall, but all the way down near the corner.
Cool. Uranus is gonna walk off towards the nonfiction or the fiction vampire books first. To make her feel good.
Okay, and she perks up a little bit, seeing you go that direction.
I guess.
Sorry.
No.
I was gonna lean over to Pry and be like, "Is there anything you need me to help your research?"
Can you teach me ABCs?
That is.
I can do that.
Sure. Yeah, that would work. Paige, would you mind? Could I just look at the book you were reading for a few minutes?
Oh, okay. And hands it over.
Unless there is a better one, if someone were interested in fiends and the like.
Oh, well, there's not a lot in the way of the fiendish studies. There might be 1 or 2 tomes. But yeah, I'm not terribly familiar. I can ask if you'd like.
No worries.
Okay, well, let me know if you want me to look it up.
Y'all are looking up some serious stuff here.
Yeah.
All right. I won't ask questions if you don't want to share, but maybe not here.
This is probably not the best place for the story, ironically.
I see what you did there. All right. Well, Peony, I guess we're learning the alphabet.
Yay.
Oh, there's a primer that we use with the children, if you would like.
Excellent. I think that's a great place to start.
She
This
reaches
is so
under
funny
the
'cause
desk.
this is literally what I do for a living. So, this is perfect.
She reaches under the desk and she pulls out this little, like, almost like envelope thing that's tied off with some string. And she's like, this has everything you need to get started.
Ah, excellent. Thank you. Let's go. Got a lot of letters to learn.
Is anyone watching anybody in the library? Like, I'm just keeping a look at. Is anyone like watching any of us in the library? Do I see like anyone?
You don't see anyone that you haven't met before watching you, but you do notice that Hoki has pretty much affixed himself to Artemis's hip and is just kind of doing the whole, like, as you flip through the book, he's kind of like craning over your shoulder, like trying to look over and like see what parts you're looking at without like getting in your way.
Hoki, I need a little bit of space.
Oh,
Some space,
certainly.
please.
He takes like half a step back.
Oh, more than that.
Oh,
Please go about your business.
oh,
Do
I
whatever.
don't really have business. I came here because of the book request.
You should find some other business. I think is the right thing to do, then, right? Find something else, maybe to read, maybe another book to write, maybe just something.
I don't meet many people who are interested in graviturgy.
That's
Well, you
fair.
can always find someone else. I mean, as you can see, she's busy, so always find someone else who's into it.
You're grumpy.
I'm going to lean over to Peony as we're walking away to go find a quiet place to talk. Is Grokas all right? He doesn't seem, he's not the same as when I left y'all. It's a little grumpier. I mean, he was grumpy to begin with, but grumpier. I suppose there's more to that story, but not for here. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's go sit down. We're not starting at the beginning. We got to jumble them up. Let's go.
I would say him too. He said that to me. I say, get as old as me and you'll be as grumpy as me. So if you make it to my age, you'll see what it's like to do that. All right.
Okay, you're having a bad day, and I've pressed a button that I probably shouldn't have pressed. It seems like I'm just gonna, yeah. You, the tall one. He like reaches in, he grabs a pocket and pulls it out, and it like accordions like out very far. And he just begins like rifling through.
Whoa.
And he reaches in and pulls out a little card, and hands it to you. And he's like, "Phew. That's where I can be found. I'm going to be in town for a few days. If you ever want to talk a little bit more about the science of gravity." And he snaps his fingers and disappears. But you all look and see that he's actually bamped himself about 30 feet closer to the door and is now trying to sneak out, like without being seen. Disappears out.
Wow, boy. I think Artemis is going to try and seek out Pry just for a moment.
She's sort of standing awkwardly somewhere, so that's easy to do.
In the library, just like standing.
Do you have a moment to talk in private?
Of course, yes.
Yeah. And we're going to find like a corner to talk in.
Grokas is following too, because he'll just be like this following, just.
Grokas, would you mind terribly just giving us a moment? If you don't mind.
Yeah, that'll be fine. I'll just be. Yeah, but I'll just.
Do you need to learn your
Yeah.
ABCs too? I got room. I can do 2 people at once. Let's go.
Sounds like fun.
You want to learn with me, Grokas?
I will wait outside. I'll make sure everyone's. I'll wait outside. But no, I do appreciate it. But
this book has so many pictures. She's holding it upside down.
you can't
We'll
teach
work
them
on-
little dog new tricks though. So I figured that. was going in my head.
Everybody can learn how to read.
Artemis is just like pacing back and forth and just kind of glancing at Pry, making sure there's nobody around. I want to go back to Elixio.
Pride blanches when you say that.
Why?
I want Grokas' name taken off of that contract.
Oh. That could be hard to do.
Nothing ventured, nothing gained, right?
That is why he's unhappy, yes?
Yes.
Do you think that getting his name removed will make him less unhappy?
I don't know, but I have to do something.
All right. I'm assuming this means you want my help?
Yes. Are you okay?
I mean, I guess having something to do to try to help would be good. I don't know if I can be any help. I'm worried that, I mean, he said it to us, yes, that he and I are so similar. I'm worried that maybe I am no better than him, and that is why we're all in this now.
Why you saved us. He could have wiped the floor with us. He could have killed us. With a snap of his fingers, it would have been so easy. You talked us out of that. So I'm asking for you to help me and help Grokas too.
Yes, I will try.
Okay.
How do you want to, I guess you don't want anyone else to know?
No. I say we go to Realm Shield. We have that discussion. And then we go wait until everybody's asleep, and then we go find Elixio and have a conversation.
You can do that. How you talk to Azure to let him know, so
Yes.
he is not irritated or surprised.
Yes. I can do that later on.
All right. Yes.
Okay.
All right. Couple points of order as people are doing other things in the library. To start with, Peony, can you roll an intelligence check with advantage? Because you have Daisy Mae helping you learn your letters.
Here comes another nat 20. Here it comes.
Roll once.
Disappeared. Halfling look.
Well,
A 12?
It's a good start.
Yeah, no, it is a good
It's a
start.
very good start.
You get about halfway through the alphabet.
That's excellent.
You know, for your first lesson. And well, I'm not going to describe it because Shannon, this is so much more your world than it is mine. What's your kind of approach to teaching Peony?
So we're going to start with work with her name. So we're going to work with the letters in her name first. And we're going to practice. I 100% get like a piece of parchment and I write the letters out and tear them up and I mix them up. And then we practice putting them in order. Very multisensory, very hands-on. And then we we'll work on the differences between a word, a syllable, and a letter, because that's very important to know those differences. That'll be very helpful for learning to read. And at the end of our little session, can you tell that I've been tutoring all summer? At the end of our little session, we'll do some, like, I'll say a word and she has to change the first sound in the word and see if we can get those don't eat it.
it doesn't taste good.
Well, just to practice manipulating sounds, because that's going to help you be a good reader. And then maybe I'll teach you to hold the book the right way.
It's just not the right way. Oh, it's like this. And she'll turn it sideways. So it's like,
Almost. There you go. Hold it just like this. This is the front cover. This is the back cover. This is the spine. This is the title. All this, it will work on it, but you got to know how to hold the book the right way. Good. And you turn the page when you finish with it.
okay.
You read from left to right. Yep. Other way, I think.
That's silly. Dwarvish, you read right to left.
That's fair. That's fair. But in common, we read left to right. So just put your finger right here and follow me. And then we'll just do the whole prick concepts thing.
I love it. I also love the idea that somewhere in Daisy Mae's background, she's got a little teacher in her. The two of you, go ahead and take a point of inspiration for learning how to read your name.
Yay!
And I love how the chat is just dropping all the different ways that they learn to read or learn to love to read. Schoolhouse Rock, Reader's Digest.
Schoolhouse Rock.
Reading is fundamental.
Absolutely.
I love it. Yes.
Reader's Digest the paper.
That was why I didn't actually.
That's great.
I didn't learn on reading.
I remember how I learned to read. I just.
Neither do I.
I have no idea.
Yep. It's changed a lot since we were in school, y'all. Let me tell you.
Yeah, Common Core reading now too. Let's get it.
Awesome. Aranis, you were looking for some books. Go ahead and roll me an investigation check if you would. And Malachite, what are you doing during all this?
So I checked out that one book and read it about like whatever, I don't remember what it was exactly, but trying to figure out more about like Dwarven machinery. So I guess I'm just going to be looking in any kind of section that deals with mechanics and stuff.
Sure. Yeah, there's
the popular mechanics section.
The popular mechanics magazine subscription section.
Yes.
There are some books, not as much as in the libraries at Accessa. You recognize a couple of them as ones that you've already read. There are a few that you pull out and you're like, okay, these have probably nothing that's like super advanced principles, but you haven't read them before and there might be some nuggets in there. So
cool.
Aranis, what'd you get? Oh, you're muted, bud.
I got an 8. Can I use the inspiration I got from climbing up the wall like an idiot?
You can, yes.
Is that like
what a sentence?
Is that like a D6?
It's a reroll. It's advantage.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, not an 8. Let's go. 18. Sweet.
18. Okay. And any pluses to that, or?
No, I'm not smart.
Okay. So with an 18, yeah, I mean, you kind of, you're looking at first and you're not finding really what you want and you kind of get discouraged, but then you're like, no, I can do hard things. And you turn back around and look again and you do find, so I remember you asked for Elven. What was the other thing you had asked for?
Vampires.
Vampires, that's right. And you originally had gone to the fiction section, so we won't waste your inspiration on that. You do find a couple fiction kind of, teen romance vampire books.
Getting Dusklight.
Yeah, Dusklight. Yep. You got Dusklight, which is a 3-part series. Each book, like the third one's like way thicker than you think it really probably needed to be, but you'll check it out. You then head back downstairs and look in the nonfiction section, and you do find one very thin tome that is one of those books that's like everything's pretty much handmade nowadays, but this, like, you can see the binding, like the stitches all the way through the binding and stuff. It's very rough. But it does say that it has information about vampires inside. And then the other one that you find 2 different books on elven lore and whatnot. One of them you pick up and start reading, and being from that kingdom, immediately recognize this as a complete bastardization of things that have been passed down from generation to generation. It's just like, it's all wrong from the start. The other one is a more recent looking book, and that one is actually, you recognize the name on the spine as Dr. Anderson. but it is not about, ecology or biology. It is, as you start to flip through it, a histories as much as he can remember of his peoples, being a full-blooded elf. So he jotted some things down and submitted it to the library here.
Nope.
Cool. All right. People digging in deeper into their books at this time, or are we moving on to another scene?
I want to check mine out. So
Okay. Roll another investigation check then.
Can we check the primer out?
Yeah,
Well? I'm
when you opened
100%
that,
giving her homework.
yep, when you opened that up and pulled it out, there was a little ABC's book with big pictures. That's the one that she was
Excellent.
holding and everything. There were individual pages with the different letters with like a little drawing of like an animal that goes with that, and some charcoal pencils in there as well, so people can trace and color in and all that type of stuff.
Perfect.
And then there's also in there a small little wooden block carving of ABC, as well as a little corked thing of finger paints. So it's a full activities packet.
Excellent.
I feel like Peony has already stuck her hands in
Nope.
the paint.
Nope.
Like
Nope.
one on
I
each
saw
finger.
I
like,
saw you going for it. I took it.
I just started trying to get the paints.
We'll finger paint tomorrow. All right. You need to learn the letters in your name first. You're this close. It's a Y at the end, I think, right? Do you spell it Peony?
Yes.
yes.
Good. All right. It's a Y at the end, not an I. I know it sounds like one of those sounds, but
Got you.
I promise.
PONWHY.
Very close. You're very close. We'll keep working on it. That's a lot of letters for one day, but no finger paints. We'll do that tomorrow. We ran out of time. We got to get ready to go.
She learned how to spell the word Y immediately. I love
That's
that.
and that's excellent.
That's what most people say to Peony. Why?
I definitely started making a pile of like those words to like instantly recognize, and Y is the first one.
Love it. Love it. Ronis, what'd you get on your next investigation check?
16.
A 16. Okay. Looking through the Elven tomes, it's a bit of a journal, a bit of a rambling about what histories he remembers. A lot of it's very recent. And just because it's such a big world event, a lot of it has to do with where he was and what he was doing the day the sky cracked. He was, still in the Elven Kingdoms. He was doing research there on, various trees that were, he was doing research more specifically with like when the planes shift in phase, like sometimes they would leave behind a tree or a part of a tree from another dimension. And so he was kind of trying to figure out, like, can these things integrate into our world? Like when a tree phases into itself, like, does it continue to live and thrive? Does one overtake the other? A lot of that type of stuff. But then the sky broke and he recounts a lot of that stuff. And there is a brief mention of an elven tower that was a point of interest during that time, about a dwarf named Onan who had come up and been asking the kingdom for passage to that tower in order to help with everything going on with the shifting of the planes. And it's all very kind of like secondhand stuff, but he just kind of briefly accounts that before he goes back to talking about his, yes, as Cheryl definitely put it, invasive species work. So
I don't see anything about like a tower with mirrors and rooms around the mirror.
It doesn't go into detail, but it just mentions that there was a specific old abandoned tower that was of specific interest to this dwarf named Onan, who had come through and said he needed to access to it in order to basically help stop some great evil, something to do with the sky breaking. In the vampire book, a lot of it is very like broad sketches of what potential abilities vampires might have. we won't go into super detail on that right now, but hang on to that. And at another point, if you want a little bit of a list of some known abilities of vampires, I will make sure to share that with you in the Discord.
Sweet.
Cool. Alrighty. Everybody done at the library or anything else to do? All right. Where are you off to next then? It is late morning at this point. You spent, maybe we'll say, with all the research time and the learning the alphabet, you maybe spent hour and a half here. So with the travel and everything, meeting Daisy Mae, it's late morning.
What other errands y'all got to run today? Mind if I tag along?
I would love to pop over to a magic store really quickly, but if people want to do other stuff, I'm definitely down for that.
I'll come with you, Aranis.
So, all right, let's go to the magic store. Cool.
Cool.
Anybody tagging along, or are we splitting the party at this point?
I'll tag along.
Pride goes to the magic shop.
Yeah, I'll go too.
I guess we'll take a walk. We're not in a rush, right?
Did I sell all my junk, or do I still need to? I did.
You did.
Okay.
As you all walk out of the library.
I can go to the beach.
Have you been in the water yet?
No.
Oh, you jumped in when we had the fight.
Oh,
You
it
like
wasn't a beach.
like no. You did jump in the ocean quickly and then jump out again.
I do have another reason to go to the beach too,
do eelgrass
or something. Yeah.
I'll go. Peony's just gonna start taking a step towards the beach.
Dropping Zen Beach.
Shop and then beach.
Okay.
I think it's best that y'all stick together.
Probably.
Yeah.
All right. As you all come out, Grokas, are you just out on the steps, or?
Just like me looking at him walks by, seeing who was like kind of suspicious. So it's kind of, you know, that dude at the library, like you don't make eye contact with, who's like chilling outside. Yeah. So.
Okay.
Oh, what is happening?
All right. You all meet up and you begin heading out. The nearest magic shop, according to your map, is Winmar's Wizarding Wonders, which is kind of the premier magic store of the city and of the top shelf. There are
Son
a
of
couple
a
other smaller mom and pop type stores, including a potion shop and some other kind of curios, but that is the big game in town.
Isn't Limar the one that Daisy Mae doesn't like? Right.
Yep.
That first. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Boy.
Why don't you like him?
He's obnoxious. You know, just putting up those flashy posters everywhere, like it's so unnecessary.
There's one on your right, actually, on a building as you're passing. just
No,
as
there's
you
not.
Do you like him more or less than you like Tasser?
Oh, less. A lot less.
Oh,
Interesting.
very interesting.
Why is that interesting?
Because Tasser is a bad man.
I feel like we have a bigger conversation
Oh,
looming on the horizon. Maybe we don't have it right now, but maybe later. But I just don't like the showmanship of this guy. He tries too hard.
Well, the people who wanted to shop for magic items, is there something specific? And maybe Daisy Mae could suggest a non-chain store.
Oh, no, we can go there. It's fine. It's my own personal opinion. I'll just wait outside. But I mean, I'm sure I've never really been in there, so I don't know I just know that he's a showy guy. But by all means, we can go there. I'll just wait outside. He's caught me a couple times ripping his signs down, so I don't think he wants to see me.
So you all are headed to the shop and then to the beach, correct?
yes.
All right. You walk across the kind of top shelf and actually pass by Elixio's street as you do. Some kind of immediate PTSD hitting some of you from the previous day and the encounter there. But you continue on and eventually find yourself in front of a very gaudy building that is kind of built up with all these rafters or like battlements and connecting bridges and all sorts of things. But it's very much kind of a front and like for show, like things don't look like they're right to scale and everything. It has a little bit of like a Disneyland type building vibe to it. But there is a large banner with scrawled golden words that as you look at them a little closely, like the color on them seems to even like change and shimmer down. That just says Winmar's Wizarding Wonders. And you see like, you know, various windows where there's like lights flashing inside and kind of popping off and whatnot. And you can hear music playing gently from within. And there's a couple people who are kind of going in and out with various bags and stuff. All the bags have this WWW kind of inscription on them. It's all branded.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait outside. Y'all have fun.
Are you
Fair
sure
enough.
you don't want to come in?
I'm quite positive.
Fair enough.
It's so funny because Shannon would immediately go into the shop if it's got a Disney vibe.
All right, so those of you who want to, you step in, and as you step in, you hear a voice immediately to your left, and you start and look, and you see this little carved face that's kind of on the wall. Looks like a stone carving, but it's actually come to life with a big smile, and it just says, "Welcome, guests, to Winmar's Wizarding Wonders. Enjoy your time." And then
Grokas is out. Grokas turns around, out.
I told you, it's a lot. It's a lot. Come sit with me. Let's chat.
Oh my gosh. As you step in, you see a 3 kind of storied building with various walkways and balconies that show off different levels of things. There are shelves and rows of wares and glass vials full of potions, and there's a wall with weaponry that's kind of behind a little bit of a gated area. There are little poppers for children. There's a couple kids running around shooting off little harmless magical effects at each other. There's wands and robes and all sorts of things you could imagine. And you see kind of milling about all the people. It's not packed, but it's fairly busy. You see milling about all the people, a few different people who are wearing these long brown robes that are very, very simple, and kind of they stand out in their simplicity. But they seem to be the ones kind of, you know, talking to people and helping them, taking things down, off, and showing and demonstrating and whatnot.
Yeah, can I walk up to one of those people in the robes?
Yeah, you walk up to a human man who's got a bit of a chin strap beard that's gone gray and very salt and peppered hair. And he turns around and he's got a little bit of a crooked nose, may have been broken at some point. And he just says, "Oh, welcome to Winmar's. How can I help you today, sir?"
Hey, how you doing? I was just looking for like something for protection, like a ring maybe, and then anything you have to increase, let's just call it dexterity for a easy sum up of it.
Interesting. So looking to protect yourself and become a little nimbler. A bit of an
Yes.
adventurer, I might venture myself to guess. Would that be correct?
Yes, I am. Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. We have adventurers come through all the time and buy their wares from Winmar's Wizarding Wonders. Please come with me. And he leads you more towards the back, towards that section with the weaponry.
So I checked that last. Is he like lying about adventures coming?
Yeah,
and
you can
buying?
insight check him.
No real adventurer goes here.
Ask if you
Dirty
can-
20?
A dirty 20? I mean, it's a speech. It's patter. You know, it probably adventurers come here. Probably a lot of people who want to be adventurers come here. Those two things are not always the same.
Yeah, understood.
He leads you, Aranis, over to he like opens a little gate and ushers you in behind, and and there's actually a very strange sense where like as soon as you pass through that little gate into this, it's not a back room, but this back area, there's some sort of magical effect because the noise dies way down, and it gets very like it's not completely unheard, but it gets much quieter. And there's a different music that's playing, and it's a little more one-on-one, a little more peaceful. But he begins to kind of lay out things. He's like, we have various rings of protection, depending on the level of protection you're looking for, and of course your budget. These are going to, in games terms, go to range from +1 to +3 in terms of the bonus that they give. And then we also have, increasing your dexterity. We have another ring, a ring of evasion. It's called, and that can help specifically when trying to get out of the way of some sort of harmful effect. However, mixing rings is not something that we typically recommend. So if you're going to wear the protection ring, might I instead suggest something a little more permanent? And he pulls out this book and sets it down. He's like, this is a tome that upon reading, you must read quite a bit in a short span of time and, shall we say, cram for the exam. But upon doing so, you will permanently find yourself with a little more pep in your step, shall we say.
That sounds great. How much for the book?
Well, the book itself is 500 gold pieces.
Oh, okay. Cool.
And then the rings range from 250 gold pieces to 1,000, depending on the level that you're looking for.
Mm-hmm. And do you have like some sort of discount for adventurers or possible repeat customers, anything like that?
Well, we certainly do appreciate repeat customers, and we certainly also understand that those leading an adventurous life tend to repeat a little less than others, if you catch my drift.
Fair. But I'm sure the adventurers you normally get aren't as good as myself and my party members. It would just be awesome if we could get a discount, or maybe if we told people about how amazing the store is, with some of their merchandise to show off.
I appreciate the sentiment. Go ahead and roll a persuasion check, Aranis.
Oh, I can do that. That's an at 20.
Oh.
So a 30 total, but I'll take a picture and put it in the chat.
No, I believe you.
Wow, a 30. Yeah.
10 gold off, 10 gold less.
Hell yeah.
I'm just kind of giving you a look, and I appreciate your confidence. Sponsorship one is not one we've done in quite a while, but I might be interested in talking more about that. Of course, I'd have to see what the boss says. But I think I could give a discretionary 10% discount off of these items.
10%. Cool. Do you take credit? You have a line of credit? Layaway? Something like that?
We do not take credit. I am very afraid. We most certainly do not take credit. It is upfront for all items. However, we do barter. We do take things in kind if you find yourself light on the coin at the moment.
Can I pull out the OTO tooth and say how much for this?
And what is it?
It is a tooth from a really bad, creepy, terrible creature that is probably not from this plane.
He flicks a little. He actually pulls up a little monocle and puts it in. And you see a little flash of something, like a little sigil, kind of light up around it. He looks at it. It's not this plane. That's actually quite fascinating. It's in good shape. It's a nick here on the tip of the tooth. Wonder where that came from.
He got stabbed.
I see. Well, I would give you 20 gold pieces for this.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. I will take it back and spin on my heel and walk out because I'm fucking broke.
Okay. Okay. All right. You just hear him say, "Oh, good day, sir."
You should go get the
We
rest
need
of
some
them.
money, guys.
We
You
do.
should go get the rest of those teeth.
I'm down for that after the beach, yeah.
Yeah.
Beach.
Let's go to the beach, Peony.
Did anybody else? Did anybody else want to look around the shop for items or do any shopping here while you're at Winmar's?
We're broke.
Yeah.
Straight up.
There
So
are
broke.
less expensive items that are not, heavy magical items that are around.
No.
There's especially on that first open area where the kids are
Anything
playing and whatnot.
Sub 20 gold.
Several things sub 20 gold. Yes.
Oh. Pray tell, Dungeon Master. What wares do you have?
I like to think that that's how you approach the next salesperson.
Absolutely.
Oh,
That's canon.
Yeah.
That's canon. Yep.
She's trying to be cool, like Uranus, and Fry is just like,
Yeah, it's a short gnomish man with a long kind of goatee that's gone gray, almost white. And as opposed to the other salespeople, he wears like a brown conical, wizard's cap on his head. And you kind of accost him. He's like, if you're on a budget and you're looking for something fun, then there's all sorts of various magical poppers and lights, and we have these are very popular with the children for 5 gold. And he pulls out this wand. This is a magical wand, and it has a few different fun effects. And he kind of flicks it one direction and it lights up at the tip. And he flicks it another direction and it shoots out sparks and kind of like almost like mini fireworks display. And he's like, we're about to have some trouble. And he flicks it a third direction. And obviously you see this like kind of greenish like gas come out of it. And it stinks horribly.
stinking fart or something.
Yeah, it's a little stink bomb built into the wand. But some minor effects, but fun for the children, of course.
How long does it last?
Oh, well, I chanted it myself. It'll last until it's broken.
How many times can I do the thingies?
Until the wand itself snaps. Which should be never, as long as you don't crush it in some respect.
How big were those effects? Like,
they're minor effects. They're essentially the equivalent of like a minor illusion spell. Something of that level.
does it do anything else? Can I make it, if I imagine it doing something else, will it do something else? Does it?
Right, it only does what it's been pre-enchanted to do. I almost said pre-programmed, but program's not a thing in this world.
Okay. How many of these do you have?
We have several on stock. They're 5 gold apiece. I'm sure we have enough to... How many do you want? He starts to look a little concerned.
So I'll make a small effect, a fart, a light up, and a little bit of fireworks.
Uh-huh.
I'll think about it.
Very well, they'll be here.
Just one for sure, though.
Oh, well,
This is
certainly. He hands it to you. Takes your 5 gold.
Yep.
Just refrain from doing the stinking cloud in the store going forward.
Already did one.
That's
Before
all right.
he
That's,
said it.
everyone gets a freebie. Yes.
DM, while they're in the shop,
Yeah.
can I talk to Grokas? Or attempt to, if Grokas wants to talk. Just like kind of making... I'm picturing this in my head, like we're both leaning on either side of the door, just waiting for everybody to come out. So, Grokas, how's it going?
It's going like, I don't know, it's going, I guess. How's it going for you?
Fine, just fine. I don't mean to be rude, but I noticed that your disposition is not quite as pleasant as when I left you. And I know you're a man of balance. So what's that all about? You seem out of balance.
Formally, I do not practice anymore, so
I'm sorry, what?
formally, I'm not practicing anymore.
Just like that. I saw you, what, like 3 days ago? And you just why?
Things change. Sometimes you find out you're not necessarily fit to do a certain thing, so
Sure, but that was like your life.
yeah. Sometimes you gotta lose, I guess, life. I mean, not something else, I guess, right?
Well, what did you find to replace it? Or are you still searching and that's why you're grumpy?
I'm too old to be searching for things like that. I mean,
Okay, that's the
no.
second time you've called yourself old. You are not too old. You can do whatever you want to do. What is it you want to do? Has anybody ever asked you that before?
Actually, yes, but I mean, what I want to do now is there are things I want to do, but they're not. I don't know how to put this. They're not the. I'm not gonna do anything that's gonna endanger any of these people. So
Sure.
what I want to do is, if it comes to certain things, then maybe I'll do what I want to do. But I'm not gonna risk anyone here, including yourself. So.
Well, I respect that, but you're allowed to do things that you want to do. And even if that means going back to the balance, if you find that, that was something you needed to miss to realize you really wanted it.
Well, it doesn't matter what I want in that matter, though. Like I said, there were circumstances that have inspired, so it's nothing no matter want or not want. So, but I do appreciate the sentiment.
Of course. A person like you deserves to be happy. That's all I'm trying to say.
A person like you does not deserve to be hurt in whatever way. I can still see some of the dry blood. So, like I said, you just tell me who did that.
It's all right. Sorry, that was really gross. It's all right. It's
It's not all right, but it can be. Just like I said, you just let me know who did that.
I appreciate that.
Well, if they do it again, I'm fine because it's So if you do want to,
I don't think they'll be
there's a
doing it
person.
again, but I appreciate it.
Appreciate you as well. The group definitely missed you when you were gone. Definitely thought about you. So
I missed you all too. It was nice to have friends for a little while.
it's going to be a little while.
For a couple of days. Not one that you.
Friendship lasts till death. So until the day I die, you can say you have one friend, and I'm sure the others say that as well. So it's not just a couple days. It's forever. As long as life lasts, at least.
Understood. This shop, though, huh? What'd I tell you? It's a lot.
Yeah, the Delphi would have broken down if I had remained. So yeah, you're right. Just,
Well, it can suck people in, so we might be out here for a while. As Uranus comes stepping outside.
Actually, as you kind of gesture to the shop and have this conversation, Daisy Mae, you notice that kind of waiting in the doorway is one of those brown-robed workers, salespeople. They're just standing there, kind of very deferentially, waiting to jump into conversation. But once they catch
conversation.
But once they catch your eye, it's a young woman who appears to be probably a half elf, from the point of her ears, with
You
blonde
need
hair.
something?
Yes, apologies for the interruption, but we did not realize that you were gracing us with your presence, Miss Abernathy. Do you require anything? Can I help you in any way, shape, or form?
No, I'm good. I'm just waiting on my friends. Who are you?
Oh, my name is Clara, ma'am. I'm one of the workers here, but I've been told, of course, if there's anything at all that you need, like we are at your service, of course.
Well, Clara, I appreciate that very much, but nope, I'm just fine.
All right. Well, please relay to your bosses, our highest respect here at Winmar's
Yep,
Wizarding
I
Wonders.
absolutely. Yep, thank you, Clara. I absolutely will.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. So sorry to interrupt. Have a good rest of your day. And she kind of just backs up.
Son of a bitch.
All right. The rest of you coming out?
Healing potions.
I'm gay.
Healing potions are 50 a pop.
I'm good. The 50 a pop for regulars.
50 a pop for healing potions, yes.
Yeah. Do they have a bulk discount?
Buy 4, get 1 free, we'll say.
Buy 4, get 1 free.
Get your 5th free.
And there's 6 of you. Oh, 7,
There
I
are
guess.
7 of us. Sorry, math now. It's 200, 400. Yeah, so it would be 400 for, wait, yes, for 8, get 2 free, 10.
Yeah, if you wanted to buy a full 8, yeah, it'd be 400.
Sure, yeah, I'll buy 8, get 2 free, huh?
Okay, so then you have 10.
Wow.
Yeah. And we can split those up.
We got a rich girl.
All right.
Give change for a platinum.
I mean,
That's all platinum say.
I have a platinum card. My daddy's credit.
watch it.
Bro, can we bill your family?
Watch it.
Wait, can we bill your family though? Can we just say put it on the front tab?
Ain't rich no more, but we've got those.
All right. You have 10 healing potions. Quite a haul.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
All right. Where to next? The beach?
The beach.
Going to the beach.
Sure.
All right.
Beach.
It's a little past midday now. Might be feeling a little peckish, depending on your eating habits. But yeah, the beach is probably a half-hour walk away from you all.
Can I look around and just kind of keep an eye as we're walking? See if anybody's watching us.
Yeah, make a perception check.
Sure. 18.
An 18? You look around and you don't see anyone kind of looking at you with, you know, an untoward glance or anything like that. There are a few folks who see you, Daisy, and turn away pretty quick. Go back to their business.
So that
With what?
people are avoiding you.
I mean, you see my gun, right?
Fair enough.
I wouldn't want to mess with me either. If I saw someone with a gun like that. It's nothing unusual.
Right.
You're too excited for the beach. You're running to the beach.
Are you right? I mean, Peony, that's a good point. Like, are you paying attention to this conversation?
She is like, beach, 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 beach,
So
beach.
Grokas just stops walking. Just stops.
Are you coming?
What's up, Grokas?
We're almost there. the beach. It's a beautiful day.
Daisy, the reason why I'm not, I don't bother anymore is because I signed a deal with a demon of some sort. That's why. And so I'm sick and tired of no one wanting to say anything
All
about
right.
anything. Everyone wants to skirt around every issue. So if we don't want to talk about anything, we keep everything hidden. No one wants to share anything. It's fine. We'll just keep everything just deep down deep and never talk to each other, even though we're friends, even though we care for each other.
Can
we
I
can't
usher them into an alley while this is happening?
Yeah. Yeah.
Whiplash!
Yeah, right.
Just kind of shove everybody into an alleyway nearby. Yep.
Oh, Peony's like, damn it, we were so close.
But Peony's like panicking now because Grokas Grandpa's mad, and she's like, Grandpa be mad. Grandpa!
All right. You should not be saying this in the middle of the day.
When is there a good time to say any of this? There's never a good time. There's never a right time.
There is a wrong time.
Thank you, Malachi.
Thank you.
Thank you, Malachi. Yes.
Just gonna wait till we got back inside somewhere. Just, not around lots of people.
If someone has an issue, they can come talk to us, son. So I'm sure that they're not going to hide it. How would they feel? Maybe they'll just keep it hidden too. So we'll be fine. It's fine.
Grokas, I appreciate your forthrightedness. If I don't know if that's the word that I'm looking for. It's definitely not the word I'm looking for. I appreciate your honesty, your blunt honesty. But seriously, there are ears and eyes all over this city. And I very touched that you would trust me and apparently the rest of the town with this information.
We'll talk about it tonight. Okay?
I want to learn more, and I might have a thing or two to tell you, but not in the middle of the day. Besides, Peony wants to go to the beach. Let her go to the beach before things get heavy. 'Cause things are going to get heavy.
Let's just
They
have
already are. So, but yeah, that's fine.
Heavier
So,
then. That things are going to get heavier. I'm starting to get sick of Daisy Mae's. Is just like finally starting to get irritated with Grokas having a comeback for everything. Just like, fuck it.
Aranis is going to walk to catch up to Peony and just start playing Grokas' favorite song that he can remember while he's going. And just, taking Peony to the beach.
Peony is walking like very stiffly forward, like is still excited, but also is like, that was super awkward. And I don't know how to act. Like, but it's just trying to be normal. Like,
Yep.
yes, this is how one walks.
Well, you all awkward shuffle your way down to the lower level and make it to the beach of Floros. There are not many really any like what we would consider like a traditional sandy beach, a West Coast beach. It's a little rockier, more like Maine, for a point of reference. But nevertheless, there's an area where it kind of, there aren't docks per se, and it kind of just opens up to the water, and there are a few children who are playing there. There are folks, young and old, scouring the beach for sea glass, and looking for unique shells or treasures or whatnot, as they go along. But here, kind of away from the hustle and bustle of the city, you finally, after many days and many attempts, find your way to the water and the beach. So what do you do?
Just like slowly starts taking off her boots. And puts her
Thanks into
bag.
the water, Peony. And Artemis is going to start taking off her.
Yeah! Bet! Starts running. Do I still have the sugar speed?
Serious?
I have one little touch.
It's probably worn off by now. You had an hour.
Pulls out the.
Oh my god. Oh.
Cramp.
Yeah, don't swim 30 minutes after eating. Yeah, you rush into the beach and into the water, and it's cold. It's so cold.
This is lovely. I love it.
Yep. And Peony's gonna dive under.
Okay, you go completely under. Any that you get in your mouth, it's very salty, not too tasty. But you dive under, and you, even in this, kind of just off the coast area, you see, little bits of plant life that are growing, a couple tiny fish swimming by, a whole other world down here underneath the water.
Does my little wand thing work underwater if I use the light?
You can give it a try.
Bing!
Swish flick, and it glows. Not to the extent of like a light cantrip.
Yeah.
More like a nightlight kind of luminance.
And the teeth just start swimming around.
Love it.
I toss Peony something. I'm just gonna toss her a drip load.
Ah.
Just gonna toss it out to her, just kind of.
A physical object?
It's a drip load, so yeah, you can use light. It's like it's a pretty big like spear. It's like pretty much connected to you now, so like it'll like all around. It's like a light if you wanted to.
You see, it's also like a light, so you can see where Peony is.
It's glowing under the water.
Useful. That's super useful.
I love it.
Yeah. She's just swimming, like grabbing things from the bottom, like shells that she thinks are pretty.
Yeah.
She's like putting them in a pocket, stuff like that.
Yep.
Malachite is gonna pull out the notes that the doctor gave him.
Yeah.
Is it doctor, scientist, whatever he was?
Doctor, yes.
Yeah,
I
and
don't think
just see if he can
scientist
make
is an
any
official
sense.
title, but yes.
Okay.
Sure it is.
He's gonna see if he can make any sense out of that stuff.
Yeah.
It's not quite his wheelhouse, but
It's not, and there's some jargon that you have to kind of look past, and terminology, but it's clearly written, and, you're an intelligent guy who's used to reading, papers and kind of things like that. So, you kind of, essentially the gist of it is that there is an eelgrass that grows along the coast in some of the areas of the city, that has been found to be a useful ingredient for potion making. However, as soon as that was found out, people began to capitalize on it, and a group of sailors has been stripping it from the waterbeds up and down the coast to sell for as much as they can. And anytime you wholesale strip, a plant out of the ecosystem, there are effects. And he's starting to notice, there's reduced wildlife in those areas and whatnot. And he's just concerned about the long-term effects of that harvesting, and is looking for a way to curb it or stop it or whatnot.
As I'm walking around the shore, do I see any of this eelgrass?
Not in this immediate area. It's in some of the more marshy areas and whatnot that it's described. So it's kind of a little bit more like almost on the outskirts of the city, on either end. Yeah.
Cool.
There is a sample of it that's pressed in the pages. So you do have a visual. He's got drawings, but he's also got a visual sample that's or a physical sample that's been pressed. So you have that as a reference point. Yeah.
Cool. Sounds good.
All right. Well, you all frolic about over the course of the afternoon as much as you'd like here in the ocean, getting wet, finding treasures, and just taking a moment away from the heaviness, as it was described, away from the danger and the feeling of having to always watch your back. And it's a nice change of pace for a group that really hasn't had a lot of quiet moments since they first came together. But the afternoon eventually comes to a close, and it begins to start the first dippings of the sun down into dusk. Perfect time to read Dusklight, by the way. But yeah, what would you all like to do?
Should we get a drink and talk?
I think that's probably the best. I think it's time we just put it all on the table and stop tiptoeing around it like Grokas said.
Do shield?
Yes.
It'll be easy. We're gonna tell them what happened, and you get to hear it too, Daisy Mae.
I'm looking forward to it.
All right. You all make your way across town a little bit to Realm Shield, which is on the more northern side of the lower shelf, away from some of the main docks and whatnot. And as you get there, you see a few different monster hunters that you've not seen before or recognized. There's probably about 5 or 6 folks here total. 2 of those you do recognize as being Tamir, the half-elf that you had that conversation with Grokas. And then Azure herself, who is actually in the process of cooking and putting a meal together here for the end of the day. And no one really pays you mind as you walk in, even though you don't immediately see someone you recognize. Like, no one stops you at the door or anything like that. It's a very laid-back environment. And as you get a little deeper in, Tamir sees you all come in like, oh, hi, everyone. Welcome back. Can we offer you a meal and a drink?
That would be awesome.
Yes. Especially the drink part.
For sure.
I have a fish.
Just
Did you bring a fish with you?
Yeah. I think in the probably would have grabbed something with their hands and like put them in a bag of holding and just like, I have fish.
Oh, we could cook those up, and they're like very small. You like pinch them.
Oh man, I should have used my trident. I could have commanded some
Oh,
fish.
yeah.
Next time.
Wait, could you have commanded them to swim into the bag of
I'll say
holding?
that I did. I played with some fish with a trident.
Okay, and what did you command them to do?
Just
Yeah,
like
the bag of
tricks and
holding.
stuff.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
Make Peony laugh.
no. Very easy.
Yeah, they were flipping up out and
Yeah.
doing backflips and stuff and swimming in
Yes.
cool patterns underneath the water.
Wow,
as you
fish
kinda
are
got the hang
naturally
of
so
this.
interesting. It's amazing that they do all these swimming things.
So Tamir takes the 2 tiny fish and takes them away to cook them up. The rest of you can find a seat along the long tables, and then you sit and get a drink. And Azure's busy, and she kind of comes by at one point. It's like, it's good to see you all. Welcome back. I'm not familiar with you, my friend. And she points to you, Daisy Mae.
Hi there. I'm Daisy Mae.
Azure,
Nice to meet
Azure
you.
Noct. I'm the leader of Realm Shield here. It's nice to meet you as well. Thank you for joining us for dinner. Yes, we have much to talk about, I know, but it'll be a little while until the food is prepared. So please enjoy yourselves, drink as much as you like, and I'll be with you when food is ready. And she disappears off. So you have the space to yourself, essentially. People are coming and going around you, and when there's general background din and hubbub of things being cooked, and every once in a while you hear shouting and cussing at each other and whatnot. It's a little bit of a rowdy group.
I suppose I was going to say that you, Daisy Mae, and Azure should compare notes, but First, it seems like we need to know a little bit more about what is going on with you. Because
Yes.
What
Yeah.
is this about?
All right.
I'm
All right. I didn't want to worry any of you, but well, I guess we'll start with the face thing. Y'all remember my friend Gormar?
Lovely woman.
Y'all beat the shit out of her.
Yes, we did.
I shot her.
You sure did. Well, her and I got into a little bit of a we got into it outside of town, and she did that, but I won that fight and I told her not to come back.
So
So
Gormar's gone from Floros?
yep. And
Does that mean
shit.
took over
Mm-hmm.
her territory?
So maybe you and Azure should not compare notes because she will be very unhappy to meet you.
Listen, I said I didn't want to worry y'all.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean it when I say you have nothing to worry about. But yeah, I took her job.
So then you already know what we were going to tell you about Tasser, if you didn't know it before we found out.
Damn, do I? I don't remember.
So if you'll
I don't
remember,
think
there
so.
we had that conversation around Tassar and Tassar's wife.
Yeah. Okay, is that what they're about to? Okay, all right. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I know exactly what you're about. Yep.
Yes, and you may not want to be here because she is very interested in the blades, and I don't know if we all are. Are we friends?
Listen, I can leave if you're uncomfortable, I can leave. But I promise you, I am not looking to hurt any of you. And I only did it. I only took the position because I want to dismantle it from the inside.
Sounds like we're pretty much in the same spot. We're technically on the Blade's payroll too, kind of.
Not really. We are independent contractors.
I don't
And
know if the blades are necessarily involved, or more that he does it and he also happens to be
exactly.
part of the blades.
We are independent contractors, mercenaries. You said you wanted out of the blades, and now you are in charge of half of the lower shelf.
I want to take it down from the inside. I don't want this any more than I did a couple days ago, but I see it as the only way to get anything done.
Pry looks at the. I was gonna say. I want to look at the more intuitive members of the group. Yeah.
Just
22.
What do they do to you?
22.
24.
Yep.
Are you asking me?
Mm-hmm.
Daisy, what do they do to you?
This is the worst of it.
And
You know, I just went back and said, I'm taking her job, deal with it.
after they were going to have you killed and everything, Robert and everyone else just let you take your job?
Very persuasive.
Yeah, so about that 22 on the inside.
I also got a 24. Anything?
I'll let you answer that, Shannon.
I am not lying.
Cool.
I was before. I'm not now.
So if you're part of them now,
Bottom of the barrel, though. Bottom of the barrel.
But this is a very convenient relationship given one of the clauses in our contract.
Yeah,
We
tell me more
cannot-
about this contract.
We cannot be working against the Blades if we are working with a leader of the Blades, can we?
No.
DM, do I know the details of their contract?
You don't yet, no.
All right, cool.
I mean,
All right,
all you heard was the word that had gone out right afterwards from Elixio that this group that has been causing problems has struck a bargain and is no longer to be touched.
Got it. So word on Blade Street, y'all are not to be touched. So they're not coming after you. I was not sent to come after you. We just happened. And Peony I know I looked a little sketchy earlier, but I just caught sight, wanted to make sure y'all were okay. And now that I have, I'd like to know a little more about this contract, because I didn't hear any details about that.
How
Is
much
this
do you
like-
know about Elixio? His background, anything like
He's
that?
an
He
asshole.
is,
That's an
yes,
understatement.
he is not what he looks like either.
Do I know that?
You don't. You know Elixio more by reputation.
That's right. We talked about that.
He's on a different level of the group. Yeah.
Yeah. I've never really interacted with him, but I know him by reputation, and he's a force to be reckoned with, that's for sure.
Well, you pointed out in the library that we were looking up some interesting things, and being curious about fiends is related to him. He is a Gambian, a fiend.
Is that so?
In disguise.
We made a deal with the devil.
No shit.
A
Big
devil.
devil.
Oh shit.
Big devil.
Well, no, Grokas, no wonder you've been so grumpy all day. What, I'm trying to understand why you would make a deal like this.
So we went into the mine.
I knew that part.
Found some beasties and whatnot down there.
I knew that too.
Also found some miners or workers down there who Elixio was having fix the forge.
Did I know that? I didn't know that part.
Was a miner, but not a minor. A minor.
Oh my gosh.
Minor.
You know, for someone who hasn't learned their letters yet, you have a very good grasp on grammar.
Yeah, people talk a lot at festivals.
Hey, that's a great way to learn vocabulary is by exposure. Go on.
So long story short, we traded our services for theirs.
And that's why
Main thing of our contract.
That's why they're not coming after you, because now you technically work for them too. All right. I was getting a little attitude for working for the Blades, but y'all are working for the Blades too. So can we just say that and name it what it is?
I said it.
Yeah, you did. Do y'all want out of this contract? Or what do you all want? I guess what's the end goal here? Or have we not figured that part out yet?
I have a scheme, possibly. Depends on if everybody else is cool with it, though.
Well, let's.
Can't we, if we don't know what it is, how can we be cool with anything we don't know about?
I believe he was getting to it, Grokas. Just give him a chance. Good gods.
So, our contract says that we're not supposed to do anything that makes it so that the enemies of Elixio have an advantage of some kind, right? The way he speaks of Brobat, they don't seem to be on the best of terms necessarily. And
similar personalities, I get it.
And Brobat might be a vampire, so there's that. There might be
That's a new theory.
there might be a whole mess of vampires in the bottom
Y'all
of
have
the
been
mine.
busy.
Real
yeah.
busy.
Goodness
Real
gracious.
busy. Yeah. So what I'm thinking is that if we finish the forge and Brobat can get to what he wants down there, that's a tactical advantage for him, which would break the contract with Elixio, right? So maybe we technically can't do that. So maybe we tell Elixio that we need to take Brobat down first to take out the vampire issue. We then go back and complete the mine, the forge, whatever. As soon as that's done, we take out Elixio. Contract is complete, and we can take him out after we're done. That's what I was thinking.
Elixio made it seem like Groba did not know what he was doing.
What Elixio was doing?
He seemed annoyed that you would think he had to report to Probat. So perhaps Probat did not know that those people were there, or what Elixio wanted them to do and now wants us to do.
Well, does Brobat know that? I wonder if Brobat knows that there's still work going on down there. Does he know that? Do we know that he knows that? Do I know that he knows that?
The Furman certainly knew we were supposed to go back in. We need to find out who is working for the Blades via Brobat and who is working for Elixio, because the way I spun this to Elixio was that we were his mercenaries in case he ever needed independent contractors, because he seems to not want to be under Brobat.
Well, then I guess I technically am one of Brobat's. So I guess that puts us on opposite sides. But we could probably make this work to our advantage. I'm whispering all this, by the way, DM.
This is all whispered.
Top of the
Light conversation.
Right. So we need to know if the people mining are Probats or Elixios or nobodies, but they are lying, right?
I mean, I could
about what they're finding.
That's true. I might be able to maybe go talk to Brobat and see if he's aware of the little situation. Maybe we pit the two of them against each other and let it work itself out.
How would you have found out without?
I mean, I'm a member of the Blades. I listen, I spy. Not very well, apparently, but I could have heard it. I don't know. We can workshop it. We don't have to figure it out right now, but that's all my secrets. Sorry I kept it from you, but it was for your protection. But we're all in this shit together now, so guess it doesn't matter.
There's a heavy thud as a big pot of some sort of stew is kind of like dropped on the table in the midst of all of you. And Azure kind of bumps a couple of you friendly, off to the side a little bit and sits down, the bench giving a little bit underneath her weight of her large frame. And she just slams her elbows on the table and she's like, all right, food is ready. And then I know we have much to talk about, but who's interested in going and killing a monster tonight as well? And that's where we'll end tonight's session.
Is there money in it?
Kill a monster.
There is money to be made.
Yeah!
Yes.
Let's do it!
Downs the drink and is like, let's go.
And that's where we'll wrap up tonight's session.
Woo!
All right. Woo!
Officially part of Realm Shield.
Hell yeah.
Hell
It all
yeah.
comes full circle. It all comes full circle.
Boy.
We started this show with Realm Shield. We're gonna end. No, this isn't the end.
We're gonna collect them all. We're just gonna join every single group that's
Factions, yeah.
Yes.
all the factions. Gotta faction them all. Don't get them out. D&D.
Awesome. Well, thank you all, everybody, for your amazing RP tonight. Thank you for joining us again, Shannon. Looking forward to part 2 of this next week. And yes, thank you everybody for watching. Make sure to do all the wonderful things like liking and subscribing and commenting and sharing and doing all those things that help us grow and more people see us. But outside of that, we will see you next time here in For Us.